Good evening and welcome to the Orange County School Board's regularly scheduled meeting for Tuesday, January 11th, 2022. Thank you so much for being with us here tonight. Board members are attending in person and telephonically, so I will take a roll call. Chair Jacobs, are you with us? Okay, we'll come back to her. Member Gallo?
Present, Madam Chair.
Member Lopez?
Good afternoon, Chair.
Member Cobert?
Good afternoon, Chair.
Member Gould?
Good afternoon.
Member Felder?
Good afternoon.
And Dr. Castor-Dental.
Good afternoon, Chair.
Okay, Chair Jacobs, one more time. Okay. As a reminder, face masks are required indoor on school board property, which includes the board chambers and the lobby. I also would like to remind the public that the board members will not be engaging in outside electronic or digital communication during the meeting, so we can focus on the meeting itself, giving our attention to the matters immediately before us. Should you want to contact us, please continue to do so before or after each meeting, and we also ask that as a courtesy, you silence all your cell phones. To my fellow board members, district staff, and members of the public, when speaking, please make sure that your microphone is turned on and you speak directly into it so that our YouTube and Orange TV viewers can hear you clearly. Again, thank you so much for participating in or attending tonight's meeting. We're going to start our meeting tonight with a moment of silence followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. Now the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I was trying to hurry to say that under God.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us. I hope you all had a restful and relaxing winter break and holiday season. On behalf of my fellow board members, welcome to the first board meeting of this calendar year and the halfway point of the new school year, or of this school year. Before we discuss tonight's order of business, we want to take this moment to congratulate Avalon Middle School for being recognized last fall by the U.S. Department of Education as a 2021 National Blue Ribbon School and receiving its Exemplary Achievement Gap Closing School Award. To tell us more about the national program and honor, we'll hear from John Wright, Associate Superintendent for the Innovation Office, and Karen Furno, Principal of Avalon Middle School, located in District 2.
Good evening, Madam Chair, distinguished board members, and Superintendent Jenkins. It is my honor to be part of this much-deserved board recognition for Principal Karen Furno and the entire Avalon Middle School community. The National Blue Ribbon Award is considered the highest honor an American school can achieve. It's awarded for high-performing schools for their totality of their program, including arts, athletics, and of course academics, and also schools that have done outstanding work around closing achievement gaps. Only a select number of schools are invited to apply each year based on student achievement data. Just 7 schools from Florida were selected as Blue Ribbon winners this past year, and some states had no schools selected. The last middle school to win this honor from our district was Conway Middle School in the year 1989. So it's been 3 decades since one of our middle schools has been honored with the National Blue Ribbon Award. Avalon Middle School is truly an outstanding and special school. Having opened Timber Creek High School and served there for 12 years as its principal, Avalon Middle School is a primary feeder school. So for years I've known the teachers, the staff members, and many of those still connected to Avalon. And they are truly outstanding teachers, gifted educators, and there are just so many exceptional teachers at the school and who are such a big part of this award. And there's also an outstanding school leadership team, starting with Principal Karen Furno, who's truly a champion of teachers and of students. And at this time, I want to turn it over to Karen to tell more about the award and what it meant to the stakeholders and what it means to the entire Avalon Middle School community.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, and thank you for recognizing Avalon Middle School today. This year, U.S. Secretary of Education Miguel Cardona recognized Avalon Middle School as one of 325 national Blue Ribbon schools. This coveted award was given to Avalon for closing our achievement gaps, and it affirms the hard work of educators, families, and communities in creating a safe and welcoming school where students are challenged and engaged. Avalon has a strong core program with educational experiences for all students. We also have excellent electives and extracurricular activities, allowing students to express themselves, including PLTW, music, art, drama, and agriculture. When you walk into our classrooms, you will see students collaborating, discussing, problem solving, and more. All hallmarks of engaged, challenged students. What is less easy to describe is how Avalon creates a safe and welcoming school. To be recognized by our nation as a school that has closed achievement gap is due to the positive relationships formed with students and the commitment shown to all students by the teachers in my school. The people who serve our children demonstrate commitment year after year. Commitment to hard work, commitment to engaging students in their learning. This recognition is in great part as a result of the amazing teamwork, family atmosphere, and strong support system that we have created. It is increasingly difficult for those of us in public education to create the conditions that allow for this type of success. I know that everyone has gone to school and therefore feels that they know what happens in schools, but the truth is that when you're not in the classroom on a daily basis, you don't always get it. There is no other profession that is as highly scrutinized and micromanaged than teachers, and yet, as is misunderstood by the public, my fellow administrators understand this, I'm grateful to have the community of support that we have at Avalon Middle School. My faculty and staff have always gone above and beyond to reach every student. They do so simply on what they, as the professional in the room, know their students need. Teacher-developed, teacher-led interventions that simply do not allow students to fall through the cracks. That's what good teachers do. They see a need, they use their training and skills to serve the need. However, teachers, administrators, and staff are now struggling, and we know this. So when a school gets recognized as a National Blue Ribbon School, we show that we can overcome all of these challenges. Unfortunately, our society has lost sight of both the strength and the importance of the classroom teacher. All of you who serve know our students in education is in crisis, a crisis we have not seen as a district, as a state, or as a nation. My entire career has been with Orange County Public Schools. It has been a privilege to work in this district with amazing leaders and amazing educational advocates that we have here. During that time, I've seen increased responsibilities placed upon teachers, not by educators, but by outside forces. Endless paperwork, canned interventions, an emphasis on testing, countless mandates, and other things that don't truly support student learning. I've seen an increase in decision-making for educators and less emphasis on trusting the professionalism, wisdom, and experience of classroom teachers. I have taken a different approach. I am convinced that the support teachers show each other at Avalon is a key to the success of our students, and I believe that we need to extend this support to all teachers. Therefore, my job I see as simple. Support teachers who need it and get out of the way of those who don't. If, as a society, we do not show teachers the respect they deserve, the respect that they have earned, then who is going to teach our children of the future? We have learned through this pandemic that nothing can replace the connection a teacher makes with a child. A professional teacher can look into the eyes to know what they need. A professional teacher also knows when a child needs help, when they need to be challenged, and when they just need someone to show them love. I am blessed to work with professional teachers, and I strongly believe that all of our schools have the potential to be a National Blue Ribbon School if we examine our practices and work to create systems that truly empower and support all of our educators. At this time, I'm going to invite our Teacher of the Year and our media specialist, Shauna Wax, to share the letter received from President Biden and to present it to Dr. Jenkins.
Thank you, Ms. Furno. This letter, as we said, is from President Biden. Jill and I send warm greetings to all those gathered for the 2021 National Blue Ribbon Schools Awards ceremony. Education is the one field that makes all others possible. We have all been shaped by educators who sparked our curiosity and helped us find confidence, who encouraged our creativity, and who inspired us to build a better world. Thank you to all the National Blue Ribbon Schools for everything you do to raise the bar for schools across America, to nurture our students, and help build the next generation of leaders. Every day, schools like yours are meeting this difficult moment with care and creativity, supporting our students' well-being and their academic progress. As our nation continues to face pressing challenges, including our fight to end the COVID-19 pandemic, it will take all of us, parents, teachers, students, staff, and government at all levels to ensure that our students have the knowledge and skills they need to compete in the 21st century. I often say that children are the kite strings that lift our national ambitions, which is why our nation's ability to compete begins in classrooms across America. Educators and administrators from around the country are looking to you, our National Blue Ribbon schools, as models for how we can create a culture of learning, promote high standards, and reward active teaching and educational environments in every corner of our country. Congratulations on this well-deserved recognition. I wish you and your students continued success in the years ahead. Signed, President Biden.
Thank you. To be recognized by our nation as a National Blue Ribbon School is an honor I will carry with me forever. In particular, I'm honored to be part of such an amazing team of professionals that put students first. I am so grateful and proud. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's give them a round of applause. Yes, absolutely.
Look at my number. Do you see that?
That is wonderful. You want to come get a picture in the front?
Guys, want to take a picture in the front? Oh. Oh, okay. They don't think it's snowing in the building. I'm a fur on.
I'm going to go ahead and call on, I've got a few members queued up to speak. I'm going to call on Member Gould first.
Thank you, Principal Furno. And I don't think people really, truly realize how difficult this has become to become a blue ribbon school. First of all, not that we don't do the work in all of the schools, and you all have certainly excelled at it, which is amazing. But our focus is taken the eye off the ball all the time by many of the things that you mentioned in your speech, but even things that come up that seem to distract from us really moving the ball down the field. And I'm not a sports person, but I think that's a good analogy. We constantly get these, it's not even blocks from another team, it's stuff thrown out of the stadium onto the fields that blocks the way completely, that has less, that really is a distraction from the work that we have at hand. So I commend you in a difficult environment to really have a school that has excelled. We have so many amazing schools, but yours is now the poster child for the best. So thank you for what you and your team have done, and great teachers like you have accomplished in spite of the challenging times.
Thank you, Member Gould. Member Lopez, the proud District 2 board member.
I am very proud. Congratulations, Ms. Furno. I want to highlight that every single time I go to Avalon Middle School, I can feel the positive vibe, not only between the students, but also the staff members, the teachers that classify employees. I even have meetings with janitors, and they always praise Dr. Furno and the administrators at Avalon Middle School. When you go to Avalon Middle School, every classroom, every teacher is like a happy place, and the parental engagement is very high as well. It's amazing. Sometimes I feel, oh my God, Avalon now is in District 1, but we love Angie, and we all of us are gonna be here to keep serving Avalon Middle School. But I am very proud of you. Your leadership is amazing. You are very inclusive. And I remember during the Hurricane Maria, a teacher that approached me, and she said, it was a teacher from Latinos in Action. And she said, Miss, I am so pleased and honored to be here because Furno gave me the opportunity to be here in Avalon Middle School. I didn't expect it, but now I saw her even in the picture. So it's maybe 3 years there. So thank you for all you do. Thank you for your commitment with our families, with our students, with our staff members as well at Avalon Middle School. Thank you. I think that is a great family. Is the way I see Avalon Middle School. Congratulations.
Fantastic. Dr. Castor-Dental.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I want to also extend my my congratulations for this amazing achievement. And then just listening to you speak, Ms. Furno, it reminded me of when I just graduated from college, and I was interviewing different districts around the U.S. for where I was going to land. I was at Nashville and Atlanta and Jacksonville and Tampa. And then I interviewed here at OCPS with a principal who showed so much support to teachers and was also someone who created a very positive culture. And she's why I'm in Orlando. And I feel like you have that same kind of leadership style that would make someone come to live in Orlando. So I appreciate that. Your leadership style, you're giving so much credit to your teachers. But I'm sure that you have a lot to do with the positive culture and the work that they do. And I loved how you said, let's support the teachers who need it and get out of the way for those who don't.
I love that.
That's vital. So I appreciate your work and your style, and maybe we could learn more about how you create such a positive place to teach. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Dr. Jenkins.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I would just add my congratulations. I was out to visit with a school when they got the, it was actually a broadcast from the Secretary of Education, and just a great celebration there. And there was a good feeling there. And I want to certainly commend phenomenal teachers. Principal Furno downplays her role. There are other outstanding principals in the room as well. You need outstanding teachers, phenomenal teachers, but you have to have outstanding leadership at the school as well. And while you downplay it, I want to commend you for your leadership. The principal is key in driving that whole school culture and helping lead those students to success, as well as having phenomenal teachers. So commendations are due to you. As much as you want to downplay it, I have to stress that as well. It would be unfair to the other phenomenal principals in the audience not to point that out. Here's the thing. In Orange County, we have adults that are committed to our students' success. Those adults include both our instructional staff, our phenomenal teachers, outstanding principals, central office staff, classified staff, we call them support professionals, all of them committed to our children's success. And when we were at Avalon Middle, I saw support staff in the room as well, celebrating what had been accomplished for that school. So to your entire faculty and staff, congratulations again. You make us proud.
Thank you, Dr. Jenkins. Member Gallo.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I don't know that I could say it any better than Dr. Jenkins and Dr. Castor-Dental, but I did want to extend my congratulations. Your leadership ability rang very clear in the speech that you give. The fact that you gave the majority of the credit to your teachers and to your staff shows what a strong leader you are. So I just want to say thank you and congratulations. It's well deserved.
Thank you, Member Gallo. I'm just going to add a couple things. This is a middle school. And as we all know in education, as we all know as parents, middle school is not an easy time. So I've always said that, I wish there was just some secret magic potion that we could give our middle schools to help the kids get through this time period, because it's just so challenging. You know, they don't know who they are, they don't know where they're going, they don't know what's happening to them and their bodies and everything else, and you know, we expect a lot from them. And it seems that you have found that magic potion somehow. The things that you've achieved with your kids at your school are just amazing. And thank you for your commitment. Thank you for serving these kids so well and helping them to hopefully find who they are and where they're going in this world, because they certainly need all the support they can get. So we appreciate you and appreciate everything you've done. Thank you. And now, if you want to leave, you are certainly welcome to leave before the rest of the meeting goes on. I want to check one more time to see if the chair is online for us. Are you there, Chair?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Yay.
You can hear me?
Welcome.
Yay. Thank you. Thank you. I apologize for the delay in figuring out the technology. Thank you for
That's
inviting me
okay. That's okay. That happens. Okay, let's move on. We are also proclaiming January 24th through 28th, 2022 as Celebrate Literacy Week in Florida in Orange County Public Schools. Dr. Jenkins, do we have any newly appointed administrators to present tonight?
We do. I am happy to announce two individuals. That is Chastity Marie Pelham, who was a resource teacher at Olympia High School, who will be the new assistant principal at West Orange High School. And then Kanisha Nicole West, instructional coach at West Orange High School, will be the assistant principal at Apopka High.
All right. Yay, Blue Darters. Congratulations, administrators. We don't have any of them in the audience tonight, do we? No, okay. Okay, Dr. Jenkins, are there any changes to the agenda tonight?
No changes, Madam Chair.
Okay. Can I get a motion to adopt the agenda?
So moved.
So moved by Member Colbert. Second by Member Gould. All those in favor? Aye. Member Chair, or Chair?
Aye. Aye.
Ms. Invall, do we have any public speakers tonight on the agenda items?
Madam Chair, you had two members of the public who filled out speaker cards. As you know, 286-0114 provides that members of the public shall be given a reasonable opportunity to be heard on a proposition before a board or commission. Originally, the speakers both signed up to speak for 2.03, which is the proclamation. They then, when I went out to advise them such, they changed their item to speak on item 16.02, which is the approval of the minutes from December 14th. However, 286.0114 subsection 3 states the public's opportunity to be heard does not apply to an official act involving more than a ministerial act, including but not limited to the approval of minutes and ceremonial proclamations. Accordingly, your speakers that you have aren't entitled to speak on those items today. So we do not have any speakers.
Okay. Okay, then we're going to move on to 3.01, public hearing, request approval of all instructional materials used to teach reproductive health or any disease, including HIV/AIDS. Dr. Jenkins.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This has previously come before the board. You are required to have a public hearing on this particular item before it is finally adopted. We have no speakers signed up at this time.
Okay. Any discussion by school board members? No? Then I'm going to ask for a motion to approve 3.01.
Sumo.
Member Lopez moves. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Member Gallo seconds. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Chair?
Aye. Aye.
Thank you. Okay, we're going to move on to 3.02, public hearing, request approval of the adoption of the English Language Arts 6 through 12 textbook, instructional resources, and materials. Dr. Jenkins.
Once again, Madam Chair, this information has been brought before the board previously. This is an opportunity for any public speakers. Prior to adoption, we have no speakers signed up.
Okay, any discussion by school board members? Seeing none, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
So moved by Member Gould. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Member Lopez. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Chair?
Aye.
Good, motion carries. Okay, the chair will entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented by the superintendent.
So moved, Chair.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Chair?
Aye.
Thank you. Motion carries. I think, boy, we're just moving along fast tonight, you guys. Are you doing this on purpose? Making it easy for me? We are non-consent information. Superintendent, Dr. Jenkins.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I want to thank the board for their patience and their attention to all of the details that had to be presented during the impasse hearing. Also, thank you for that resolution. We've sent information to our teachers today to make sure they understand the next steps. And so all of that language, all of that information that was provided and decisions that were made in that hearing have to be condensed to actual language. CTA has been sending that to our team. Our team has been sending that to their team. They will compile the language and it becomes a ballot for teachers to actually vote on, not only those items, but every other tentative agreement that was provided throughout the bargaining year would also be included on that ballot, already agreed upon between the two parties. At such time that they have it prepared, I'm told that Ms. Dormal and her team are intending to do an electronic ballot, a digital voting, which should make it faster for being able to compile the results. Once that is done, we will make an announcement so that both this board and all of our teachers, I need to make sure folks understand voters on the ballot are both our CTA members and those who are non-members. It's all of our teachers get to vote. And then CTA has to compile and come up with the decision. Should the decision be to ratify the ballot, then the board will have their final resolution because you need to also approve all of those tentative agreements that would then be a part of the contract. If there is not a ratification, then the board's decisions from the impasse hearing are actually imposed for the current year that we are in, and everything else just is set aside for future deliberation. Our hopes are that we can have a swift decision so that we can certainly get money that is due to our teachers into their hands. So we're very hopeful. I also want to mention, so thanks to the board for your patience as we went through that, and certainly want to convey to our teachers that we are all pleased with the outcome and look forward to getting that money to them. I also want to mention, as I see several principals in the audience, I want to mention publicly how much their work is appreciated. Here's the thing. We've had across this nation, if you've watched the news, turnover in several industries has been just beyond anyone's prediction. I believe hospitality and retail may have been at the highest, but education was included as well. At a national level, folks have to consider whether or not they want to remain in public education. That is a national issue. I think when they talk about education, it's not only teachers, it's administrators as well. And I want to say to these principals who are sitting here that not only do I recognize, but also the board recognizes your tireless commitment. Because here's what happens. In the course of the last 2 years, not only do you have to run the school and be in charge of the instructional program and be under constraints of pay for performance if you actually were given a raise the last couple of years, but you also have had to become COVID experts. And so that means contact tracing, that means quarantine letters, that means reporting all weekend long and dealing with COVID cases. That is not what you signed up for. So I want to publicly commend all of our administrators. I want to apologize that it's gone on for a second year that you remain contact tracers and quarantine experts and COVID administrators on top of the rest of your responsibility. Without outstanding teachers, we cannot lead our students to success. Without phenomenal administrators and principals, we certainly can't hold it together. And so I believe, I hope, I dream for one day that you can set aside being COVID experts and get back to purely doing the work as instructional leaders in our school. What your current role is includes 24/7, and for that, I am deeply sorry, but there is no other solution at this point. We're hopeful that we're turning the corner. Numbers say that we should be peaking in the next 10 days and that things should start to slide to a more reasonable level. But in the meantime, please accept my humble thanks for all that you do to keep our schools up and running. Madam Chair, that is my report.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you, Dr. Jenkins. I have Member Gould who has queued in to speak.
Well, I didn't queue in to speak about that, but I echo the superintendent's commentary that without great leaders who can flex and maneuver and regenerate and evolve and then flex back again, we would not have been able to proceed at all in educating the children of our community. So thank you very much. Superintendent Jenkins, you had mentioned in your report that if, and I just want to make sure that I understood this correctly, that if the union does not ratify that, then what would happen? Just clarify that, because I'm not sure if it meant what we passed in impasse or if it falls back to the previous.
Yeah, what is imposed are the 4 items that you took action on during impasse. Those 4 items would be imposed for the year.
Okay, so, all right. I just wanted to make sure that something happened.
Got it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Member Gould. I had also queued in. I just wanted to add to what Dr. Jenkins said to our administrators. You know, like she said, you did become COVID experts, and there were other items, other things that happened as part of the whole experience. You know, when we went to virtual learning and figuring out how to do that and how to manage your teachers at home and the kids. And then when we came back and we had kids at home doing lunch ed and kids in the classroom, helping your teachers maneuver all of that. And then this year when we had all the kids come back, some of which we had not seen in a year and a half, the way you guys managed to pull them all back in and get them rescheduled for classes. And, you know, I'm sure all of you other board members had administrators that I know for a fact were at school till 10 o'clock at night with guidance counselors trying to get those kids scheduled for classes in our middle schools and our high schools. So it has just been challenging beyond words. So I just wanted to add my appreciation as well. It's sometimes the unsung heroes you guys are. So we certainly appreciate you. Thank you. And I think I have Member Colbert next.
Thank you. I would be remiss if I didn't add to comments of Dr. Jenkins and my fellow board members. The administrators really have been the unsung heroes for the last 2 years. You have been COVID experts, technology experts, mental health experts, therapists to your parents and your teachers. And in all of that, you never left. From the day we shut down in March of 2020, you all never left. You stayed at your schools, you stayed at the helm, you did the hard work, and we couldn't be more grateful. We've had many hours of discussing all of our employees, and every single employee serves our children, whether they are a support professional, an instructor, an administrator. But I just have to give special kudos to you all, because you had to have had the same fears. You have your own families. You have an incredible workload, but I also never heard any complaints. We got wonderful advocacy from many of our administrators, great ideas on what we could do better, how we could support our teachers, our families, but not complaints. And so I just have to offer up my gratitude from the bottom of my heart for everything that you have done and you continue to do. I see a couple of your leaders here in the room. Thank you for being here. And I have to give a special shout out to Dr. Vasquez, because Aleli was one of my principals. And once you're one of mine, you're always one of mine. So eventually you'll all be mine, hopefully. But again, from the bottom of our hearts, please accept our gratitude for your dedication and hard work and all that you have done for our employees, for our families, especially for our children.
Thank you, Member Covert. Dr. Kester-Dental.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I would also like to share my thoughts about our awesome administrators. I know that administrators, our principals, assistant principals, really feel the squeeze from parents and teacher demands, and then people who are pushing for more and more from them, and they really are kind of stuck in the middle. Last week I mentioned that it would be great to look at some of the things that are happening in the classroom and at the school level to relieve teachers of some of the workload, but they don't operate in a vacuum. I think it's important that we look at a workload relief work group that involves teachers and principals and area superintendents to examine ways we can bring some relief to all the positions. I understand that our focus is always on student academics and especially this learning loss, but that can't be our sole focus. I'm hearing from so many people about our children in our schools are just not where they should be emotionally. They haven't matured as you would expect them to when they've come to the next grade level, and it's causing behavior frustrations. There's extra teaching going on. There's at the same time that we're pushing them ahead. So if there's a way to just kind of understand that we're all experiencing pandemic stress, our children, their families, and if we can relieve stress in any level, I think we should do that. Again, not just our teachers who are experiencing or making those decisions to stay or go, but I know our principals are too. And that's also another group that we don't have a ready supply to just step up. So I'm serious about putting together a work group to look at these practices, share ideas from other principals where teachers are able to operate without some of the heavy-handedness or procedures. So I would invite administrators to participate in that too. Thank you.
Thank you. Member Gallo.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair. So I will add my thoughts and gratitude to those of my fellow board members that have spoke previously. I think sometimes as we move forward, we lose sight. We're so focused on our students. We're so focused on our teachers and making our teachers happy that sometimes we forget to recognize that those of you who hold the whole show together, the glue that keeps everything together, and that's what administrators do. Without y'all leading the schools, without you all making sure that kids are fed, making sure that classrooms are filled, making sure that the curriculum is implemented, that the gaps with achievement are addressed, the list goes on. And then you add COVID on top of it, and now, as it was mentioned, you're healthcare providers. You're tracking people. You're tracking quarantines. You're making phone calls. You're sending out 2, 3, 4, 5 Connect Oranges a day, trying to get kids quarantined. The burdens that have been placed on the administrators during COVID hasn't been fair. And I just want to say we recognize that. We recognize that you have been burdened and there's been a lot put on your plate, and we do appreciate you. And we talk a lot about self-care, but we can talk about self-care, but without providing you the resources or the time to do self-care, it really doesn't mean anything, right? Like if you don't have the time for it, then why are we talking about it? So I do like Member Kester Dental's idea about a work group, we do need to look at things that we can take off your plate, things that can be helpful, things that maybe are redundant, that you do triple times, that maybe we can kind of whittle down to one if those things that exist. I know that it's going to be tough until we get through COVID, because I've talked to some principals. I'm like, what can we do? And it's just really tough right now. So I want to recognize that I know that it's tough. And if at times as a board we're not thanking you enough or showing you how much we appreciate you, please know that we do. And we're so thankful that you're in our schools. We're so thankful for all the hard work that you do. We're thankful for everything that you've done on the pandemic, stepping up. I mean, I was at schools when the principals were out there feeding children all summer long. And that has to wear on you. So again, I think we do need to look at things that we can do, but thank you very, very much for all that you do for our students. It is very much appreciated.
Thank you, Member Gallo. Member Felder.
Thank you, Chairperson Byrd. Chairperson Byrd. I sat and I listened to my fellow board members express the gratitude, and I just wanted to say some things coming fresh out of the classroom. I was very blessed and fortunate. Of all the schools I worked, I had amicable relationships with all of my principals. Even when we did not agree, didn't agree at all on some things, but there was a mutual respect, and I appreciate that. And now that I'm on this side and having schools to go visit and watching administrators work like a jigsaw puzzle, trying to make things work, it's a different look on this side when you are here and then when you're there and then watching. And we are in very difficult times. We are. And I don't know that it's going to get any better any sooner, but the good thing that I'm so grateful for this particular district is that we haven't experienced some of the real wretched kinds of occurrences that have occurred across this nation, even across Florida, here in Orlando, here in Orange County. And I, for one, want to tell you thank you. And I know from day to day, some of you probably go to bed from night to night wondering what is tomorrow going to bring as it relates to this COVID, as it relates to teachers telling you they're leaving, as it relates to July 16th and then August 20-something, you still don't have your classes filled. You know, I empathize. I can't say I understand because I've never been a principal, but I have been a person in a situation that I've been in a tight squeeze and I'm having to make some quick decisions. So from that perspective, I want to tell you thank you. And I want to just remind you in some words of encouragement that whatever position you find yourself in, you were created for this position. That means you possess the ability to be successful in the position that you're in. And I'd like to say for my fellow board members that you do have our support. Just as I spoke about teachers, this last experience with the impasse, you have a board that supports you. And I'm hoping that you believe that if you have some real concerns, whichever board member represents the district and where your school is located, that you will make inquiry and you will come and see us or talk to us or say to us some of your concerns and know that there is trust. I need you to know that this is from my perspective. I need you to understand and know that, and I want to thank you for your work. Thank you for your dedication to public education. And know that it's difficult. And the days are not going to get easier. It's not. But we have that which God has blessed us with. We possess the ability to get through it, because if we didn't, we would not be here. So I want to thank you, and I want to say that to you. Thank you for coming. It's good to see principals coming. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Member Felder. Member Lopez.
Thank you, Chair. I also want to say thank you to all the principals. I really value your work and highly respect your hard work. As a teacher, I remember all my principals, all the principals that I had at Colonial High School. I remember Dr. Mitchell. I remember Mr. Douglas, Dr. Prince, Mr. Martinez. And I had great story with each of them. I used to be a coach. I used to be a mom as well. And I have great stories with all of them. I receive a lot of support, a lot of advices. As a teacher, and we're not going to have 100%, all the evaluations is going to be highly effective all the time. And I highly appreciate every evaluation. Because I always say, well, maybe, it's because I have to improve. So I really value the advices, because even though sometimes I did not receive a highly effective evaluation, I receive an advice, a respectful advice. And they always have their offices open to discuss any concern that I have and help me to grow. Even I remember when I was Teacher of the Year, that I have all the paperwork when I won OCPS. I remember the principal and the assistant principal, Ms. Fuller, staying in the office, until night, because we have to submit all the paperwork. They didn't have to do that, but they did it because they feel committed. We are representing OCPS, and they didn't have to do it, and let's find food, let's help her. So, and it was a lot of paperwork. So I can, I can imagine being a principal during the pandemic, and it's complaints all over the place, the community, it's different controversial situations and issues, and they're trying to please them, and they have, like other school board members said, with families as well. So they're sacrificing their time to contribute to the success of the student, but also to the community. They're leaders in the community as well. I remember I saw Miss Furno when I go to restaurants in Avalon, so they are part of the communities, they are part of the families, they are part of the schools. So I highly appreciate their hard work. I remember principals staying after school for the sports. It is very hard because they try to show up, but they are only, one principal. We have assistant principal, but the majority of the students want the principal in every single activity, every single game, so, this is hard. It's hard, so I highly appreciate it. I think that you deserve more in terms, economically speaking, the salaries as well. I think that you spend a lot of time in the schools, so that is something that we have to think about it as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Member Gallo?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just a question for Dr. Jenkins. I've received a lot of questions regarding the longevity supplement, and I'm confused on who's going to set the parameters, but there's just questions about their years of service. How can they find out their years of service? Is it just within OCPS? There just seems to be a lot of generic questions that I'm hoping that we can answer for our employees prior to going to ratification.
Madam Chair.
Yes.
So, Member Gallo, part of this we tried to answer in the news you can use that went out today as well. We believe there will be greater clarity when they actually have the language on the ballot, and that's what we have to confer with CTA over, what experience is actually counted. We've had that discussion today. We have to come to some conclusion there, and then it'll be clarified in the ballot. And then as we are allowed to, once that language is clarified, we will add it to our FAQs as well.
Thank you. And thank you, board members, for all those comments. They were, as usual, wonderful. General Counsel, do you have a report tonight?
I do. As you're aware, the special impasse hearing on health and safety has been scheduled and reserved on your calendars for January 18th at 3:30 p.m. Since that was placed on your calendars, I understand that 2 members are not available to attend in person, and 1 member has a time limitation and has to leave early. That would still leave a majority of you present. I know it's not your preference to have no one here. However, I need your opinion on keeping it that day and what to do if I have some resistance.
Member Gallo.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I think that impasse is a very important hearing that all board members should be in attendance for. I think it deserves all of our thought, all of our conversation. So I would be in favor of moving it. I know that we're time restricted. I want it to be as soon as possible. The union and teachers deserve that, but I also think they deserve a board that is available, present, and having a thorough conversation before we do a ruling. That would be my opinion. Thank you.
And if I could, Madam Chair, just jump in. The statute doesn't give you an absolute timeline to have it. It just says that you have to forthwith conduct the public hearing.
Okay, thank you. Member Covert?
I concur. In our quasi-judicial role, I think this is too important not to have all of us present so that we can give all of our attention. Losing 2 or 3 board members in the boardroom to me is a little bit of a distraction. So while time is of the essence, I'd like to do this as quickly as possible. My preference would be to find a day that we can all be present.
Thank you, Member Covert. Chair Jacobs.
Thank you, Chair. I concur with the comments already made. I believe that that direction had already been given to the CTA representatives, and so I hope, because I agree, I think it's just too important of an issue for it to lack a full board. The board is here for almost every vote that we take, so I would hope that Ms. Emval, with the support of this board, will be, well, I think we get to call the meeting, and I think if we're in agreement that we're not having the meeting until we have 100% of the board, we should be able to delay it by a few days. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. Dr. Castor-Dental.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I agree that we should be here in person. I learned that the last week when we were all in this role with impasse. However, what happens if we reschedule and for some reason someone has to go virtual? Like if they have COVID, would we continue on, or would we, if we've made the decision to make sure everyone is here, yet because of the current COVID, it's not necessarily possible?
So if I may, Madam Chair, it requires that you have a majority present. So having someone appear telephonically is okay. I know it's your preference to have all in person, but with the way things are going, that's why I usually just work with the chair on this because I can't talk to all of you, but since you're all here, it makes sense to go ahead and talk this out just so I can get your preference, so I know moving forward if we have to reschedule, because some of you weren't going to be able to attend on the 18th, what that would look like and when we can propose. It's really hard to look at all your calendars at once when we would propose making that next day be.
Thank you. Can you tell us one more time how, for the 18th, how many did you have?
I had 2 members were not available to attend in person, and 1 member has a time limitation and has to leave early.
Okay. No. Member Covert, you're queued up.
I completely understand if there's an extenuating circumstance. Someone could have a family issue, be ill, something like that. But it looks like there's a likelihood that we won't have 2 or 3 members on the 18th. And it's rare. That's a rare occurrence for this board. This board is always in attendance. So I'm not worried if something should happen like that. But I think for the 18th, we should reschedule.
Thank you, Member Covert. Chair Jacobs.
Thank you, Chair. And I think the last 2 board members have really covered this issue quite well. The biggest concern that I had about not having a full board is, 1, I agree, I think it's extremely important. 2, with this variant floating around, I'm right now not there because my mother tested positive this weekend, and out of concern that I may be carrying it, I did not come in today. But if we have 2 board members already not present, and we then have another board member or 2 that is exposed and can't come in, we have a much greater likelihood of having to cancel at the last minute. I think that the best thing for us to do is to find a date that we have every reason to believe we all can make it to. And in the event, if 1 or 2 board members is unable to make it, then we would be able to move forward. But if the majority couldn't make it, then obviously we would not. But again, given where we are with the Omicron variant, I think it's just not the right time to move forward with less than a full majority of the board, knowing that at least at this point that they can make it, if that makes sense.
Yes, it does. Thank you, Chair. I agree. I think that if we already start out with missing some, then the chances that someone might not be able to come because of the variant might further make it difficult. So yes, I think you have pretty good direction. And then obviously as soon as we possibly can, right. As you know.
Right, and I'll work with Deborah to check your schedules.
Great, thank you. Anything else on your report?
Nope, that's it, thank you.
Perfect. Do we have any committee reports? No? Anything the school board members would like to bring up for discussion? No? Oh, got one.
We've had multiple items that we've wanted to bring to a communications committee meeting. So we will be working on a date to try to get that set so that we can address the various things that we need to be communicating and reviewing.
Yes, that's great. Thank you, Member Gould. And if that is it, no further business in front of the board, I will adjourn this meeting. Thank you all for your help tonight. Good night.